Monster Hunter Stories, a game that broke away from the mold of hunting monsters and instead goes for the angle of, what if monsters, but friends, or even besties? This will be very crucial to the plot later. We'll be forging bonds, taking on world-ending threats with our friends, and stealing eggs. I don't know how much I'll be showing off in the footage, but you can bet your sweet Astalos that there'll be a whole lot of that. It's also a series that I'm diving into blind. Obviously, there's a familiarity here with the title and these adorable faces hanging around. This one specifically, my son. He's got a big forehead and not a lot going on in there. But everything we have here in this game happened in like 2016 as a mobile game and branched out to the 3DS and Switch, eventually getting a sequel and another sequel on top of that. But I just never got around to trying any of it for myself. However, that's about to change. So if you'll have me on your main or side monitor for the next hour roughly, let's see what Capcom has cooked up in this spin-off adventure of a couple of kids trying to find their place in the world filled with monsters, hunters, and of course, stories. A tale of old, summed up brash. For your attention span I wish not to crash. A blight will strike upon this land, and a hero shall take their stand. With a bond to monsters that are true, atop a white dragon they shall see it through. What any of that garbage means, I truthfully couldn't say. It's a brief summary of some ancient texts, probably story related, but that's for us to figure out later. We're working with a much simpler story right now. Just a group of kids out doing a bit of adventuring in the woods and most likely doing shit we're not supposed to. You know, the usual stuff that happens when you're from the sticks. Exploration, egg hunting, and accidentally hatching a flying wyvern through a makeshift rite of kinship with a couple of rocks and twigs. Well, at least we're trying to.
Next, we formally introduce ourselves. Now, tell the egg your name.
This feels like I'm being asked my new trans identity. Holy shit, but I'll give it a go, sure. Hey, I'm Lou Vane, but you can call me Lou. And I do not look happy to be here.
Rebirth is nigh. Now unleash your cry! Huh?
Oh, he's kinda cute, but those ears are worse than normal. His name shall be Ratha. Ratha the Rathalos, and he's here to stay. For now. Heading back from our wooded adventure, we need a starter home to go along with our starter monster. Welcome to Hakum Village. A very simple and basic place, home to what we'll soon know as riders. I'm sure y'all could probably put two and two together and figure out what that means, but a little more on that term later. Because we've got to do our first objective. Getting scolded.
Hey, you little brats!
I'm sorry, Dan. Gog, I can't have any fun around here. Apologies all around, but we also have to give out another one to the chief. Good old Omna. A short old-timer who exclusively talks in rhymes. Certainly a choice, but he lets us off easily, so I won't gripe about it too much. Plus, I'll be completely honest and upfront, I warmed up to it and many other things about this game over time. There's then a long discussion about us as a pre-rider bonding with a monster without even having a kinship stone, a feat that's not really heard of often. And this little line about,
though still young, you have potential to become a rider most influential.
We've got roughly like 50 more hours of gameplay to sift through, so we'll see. And here comes our first push into what will lead into said 50 hours, this suspicious monster nearby the village with a bit of stank on it. Ooh, it's Nargacuga! Here to stink up everything and destroy anything in its path, including but not limited to this house, our friend's mom, and I'm not making this shit up, a baby. Rathalos, a baby Rathalos. Ratha makes a stand here, but gets blinded in one eye and sent tumbling off a cliff into the void. Gotta say, crazy fucking opening. Was not expecting that. Eventually the Velocidrome squad of riders repel the big stink, but the damage has already been done. A year has passed, and things are mostly back to normal. On top of that, good news, it's our time to become a proper rider. Bad news, we're, still working through some traumatic experiences and strong emotions as a now orphaned preteen, which is, putting it lightly. Understandably so, our friend Cheval storms off, leaving us to try and lighten the mood by doing that whole writer thing from earlier. We head to the Hall of Rites out back, nab a kinship stone to help us form bonds with monsters as writers often do, and receive an egg that needs hatched.
Rebirth is nigh! Unleash your cry!
Whatever the fuck is in that cannot be good. Never mind, this egg just soloed a grown-ass man. I'll take it. Mayhaps I spoke too soon. This is Naviru. Sorta our speaker since we're about as social as a Link and everyone hates him almost as much as Navi. Weird how that works. Why he's here doing all this? I don't know. But he's our new partner going forward. With all that malarkey out of the way, let's finally crack open our new monstie. That's Monster Bestie, by the way. Dan over there coined that term. I traded out a brand new 2016 Rathalos for this slightly used 2004 Velocidrome. The gas mileage is fine, but like, look upon his many flaws. His steering kinda sucks, and the cup holder has something sticky in the bottom of it, just ugh. I named him Sour Cream, and honestly, he started to grow on me like almost instantaneously after that. However, the rite of kinship isn't over. We need to cleanse our cool new rock in the waterfall within the Mount Pondry Caves. We can't become a fully fledged rider otherwise, but don't worry, it's basically a tutorial. Unfailable if I had to guess. I'm not gonna bore you with the details because I remember being fairly annoyed at this part, but I feel like y'all should know if you haven't played this before that it's worth chewing through to at least get to the good stuff. At the same time though, I also feel I should warn you that this is on par for being like Pokemon Sun and Moon or Kingdom Hearts 2 levels of tedious horseshit to start the game. Do with that information what you will. Now then. Mount Pondry Cave, one of the many loose cave systems we'll be coming across, though this is one of the stationary ones. There are others like monster dens that look kinda similar, and trust me, we'll be rummaging through plenty of those to this playthrough. Here in this cave though, we just came to water our rock and officially become a writer with absolutely no problems whatsoever.
My whiskers are tingling. I can feel a weird presence around here.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you. It's time for the first official run-in with the big bad monster like Rathalos in Monster Hunter 1 or Arkfeld in Wilds. Stinky Kuga, who is very pissed off. But don't worry, we've got Sour Cream. Yeah, bite him. And for good measure, hit him with that leaf hurricane type shit. That's right, go take a bath, Stinky. Reporting back to the village, folks are baffled by our triumph of repelling the Nargacuga that has been a threat this entire time. They're also celebrating our newly awarded status of writer, while also opening up the game some more. New monsties, weapons, and armor, oh, and Pookies too. They're loosely a collectible that you can find across the world, and I think that's kinda cool. And now, after all of that, let the adventure begin. While we have new jobs to do, first I think we're gonna need a team, and we're going to build up that team with the most enticing part of this game. Running into monster dens, stealing their eggs, and trying not to piss them off too bad. Granted, we're basically up against things like Sentret and Hoot Hoot for the time being, meaning I get to be a thieving little rat free of charge. Taking our hopefully not spoiled spoils back to the stable, I managed to hatch some new friends. We have P the Aptonoth. This will be their first and last appearance. Dragon Fruit the Yonkutku. You'll be seeing a theme with these names. And Walleye the Arzaros. I love him. He has the tiniest dumb face when he's little. It's so precious. Not a single crumb of intelligence floating around in that cranium. We got a bit of training in for the new squad, and now I think we're up to snuff for whatever Chief's got planned. First, talk of the Black Blight, that haze that was pouring off the Nargacuga we fought earlier. It seemed to spread like wildfire and could doom the whole world. Bleak. Very bleak. But if true, the power of friendship and bonds with monsties can overcome that. Chief Omna then brings up the Writer's Code. It has yet to been mentioned, but writers aren't allowed to stray far from the village. Our way of life is apparently too strange for the outside world. And as someone who has played a good handful of the mainline games, I kinda see what he's saying. Just don't think about Dose's Monster Hunter PvP pet arena that you could take part in over in Dundorma. We agree to not stray far, and also agree to head to the nearby forest to take out the Glutton. Big mean bastard of an Arzuros that won't seem to head back to wherever it came from, so we're gonna be the ones to send him home. Possibly in a body bag, because I'm not 100% sure if we're just incapacitating these monsters or not. Sometimes they just get up and flee back to their dens where you can seemingly get guaranteed eggs if you choose to follow. Though for scripted events like this, that doesn't apply. There's our target, doing the exact same silly shit we're always finding him doing in these games. Iconic, really. But just like every other encounter across the series, it's time for an ass beating. Come here, you little shit. It did not like that. Retaliated with claw swiping the shit out of me, but then it tripped over its own 2 feet in the process. Felt kinda bad, but I'll take a free crit. And to finish this, get him, sour cream. Yeah, bite into him like a tortilla chip. Running in tandem with the Arzuros talk earlier with the chief, it seems the Black Blight is here too. We're halted almost immediately from looking into it by some lady with a flamingo on her head, and that we can proceed no further until their investigations are done. Didn't know you owned the forest in my village's backyard, but alright, fuck, fine. It's a new day, and with it, new problems. Hooray! So, me and the pals were talking about the black grass, aka the Black Blight, and we had a, disagreement on the matter. You see, our friend Cheval here is having a Sasuke Uchiha moment for understandable reasons. However, we fear that it's leading him down a very edgy and dark path. Our other friend Lilia then brings up Cheval's dead mother and... Oh, girl, that was the worst thing you could have said.
Don't talk about my mother!
It's been a year, but that wound is still tender, and girl, you just slapped the shit out of it. Everyone storms off one after another into the forest from yesterday. We don't find Cheval, but instead a nasty little freak bitch from 2004. Iadrome. Mostly an uneventful fight, so here's sour cream drop kicking this little prick in the face. Flamingo shows up once again, gives Lilia an antidote from being poisoned by an Ioprey, and we have a very long chat about who she is and what's going on with the Blight. You see, she's the commander of this group called the Scriveners, Captain Simone. The Scriveners seem to be a well-established research group within the wider world and are investigating the Blight. This being something in Lilia, and she asks repeatedly to join their group, to help with the Blight, her friends, and to see the world. Remember this later because I think it's both wildly hilarious and painful. She's accepted into the group as an apprentice while we continue our writer lifestyle. And Cheval is off doing some Part 2 Sasuke stuff and figuring some shit out. It's like graduating from high school and then the friend group slowly parts ways. It happens, but it's still sad to watch. But I know what'll bring the mood back. Beating Dan's ass in a rider battle. My man, you're great. Built like an Arzuros and encouraging like a Kurapeko. However, perish. If you're wondering how the combat works in this, I'm not exactly a good guiding hand, but I'll give you the briefest rundown if you're new. Rock, paper, scissors. Speed beats power, power stomps technique, and technique bamboozles speed. You can also sprinkle in other more powerful attacks at the cost of kinship, points? I actually don't know what you want to call the juice that charges this little stone icon down here, but you need some of it to use neat shit like fireballs and crazy shit later on to help spice things up. And for the cherry on top, kinship attacks. Sort of like your ultimate jutsu. Just a fucking nuke of an attack where you and your monster get a cool flashy super move. And we used all that to drop Dan 3 times to take our win and move on. Sorry about that, bud. Further boosting morale, we also unlock the fast travel caravan feature after beating up a Yonkutku for stealing a cartwheel. I love the animation of getting ejected from the cart, and I know I'm late to the stories party and that it's borrowed from the main series, but let me enjoy the whimsy. And finally, we have another blighted monster to thwart the plans of, and even Dan's too. Dan, sweetie, you're great. I actually enjoy you as a character, I swear, but there ain't no fucking way you can handle this. Unless your Velocidrome is packing Hyper Beam or some shit that you were withholding back in our fight, or against the Nargacuga from the opening act, ain't no fucking way. That being said, I like your chutzpah, so we're gonna go and take care of it before you have to go and embarrass yourself, and no one will know. Well, minus the 30,000 people on the other end of the screen. Quickly tracking down the Blight Stink. At least I'm going to assume the Void Puff back there is what we're after. Even Sour Cream knows it, and he doesn't have a single fucking thought running around through his misshapen little skull. So without further ado, let's go into the Forbidden Lands. Oh, Don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't a giant void kinship ore rock. Oh shit, Nargacuga Part 2! Now that's what I expected. And a fucked up theme to go with it? Peak, I say, peak. Going head to head with this thing in a full-on brawl was tough. Caught it with a few good hits that needed to be aimed at a specific part to break through the blight to start charging up our kinship stone once again. You know, so we can do the cool flashy shit. But it hated that plan, raised its own attack and crit chance, and hit me for so much damn damage. But this ain't my first rodeo with blight-spreading monsters. Fuck 'em up, sour cream. And one more for the village, you piece of shit. While we're saddened as riders to see this blighted monster put down, we do receive a kinship stone upgrade from the purification of the big old block of ore. And I bet we'll be doing more of this at some point. Probably a lot even. And as any curious kid that's told not to do something, we venture further out into the world and see a gorgeous view of the land. Except there's that writer's code thing. But if you're protagonisty enough, fuck it. Chief Omna and Dan tell us it won't be easy out there since writers are such a bizarre concept to the outside world, but they're rooting for us. They even give us a location to hit up if we want to learn something called the Rite of Channeling. Ooh, new mechanic that'll make things a little quirky. And it's a snowy mountain village? Say less, I'm heading out right now. Goddamn do I hope it's pokey. I sort of doubt it, but you know, let me cope. Let's ride, sour cream. The Darge Snowfields, a paradise really if you're as pale as a Kezu, kinda like me. While running around this frozen wonderland, we stumbled across another rider we've never seen before, injured and with a Barioth as her companion. Fucking crazy that that's your starter monstie. Sour cream is great and all, but... I take it back. Sour cream, you're the best funny-shaped chicken monster around. Now if you'd please, headbutt. Now then, let's get our new roughed-up friend to a safe place while beating the shit out of every Zamite within a mile radius. I just got done fighting y'all's bigger and badder Zamtrios and 4U, both flavors even. Trust me, you chuds ain't it. We find a random uninhabited hut and perform the rite of breaking and entering. It'll have to do for now because Avinia here is still injured. Her Barioth, Frostfang, is her only family left after her village was destroyed, and we're both on the same goal of finding some guru to learn the rite of channeling from, but we don't know where to look. Hi, peculiar-looking Shrek-shaped man. And as fate would have it, this is our guy, the guru we're looking for. Perfect. Slight problem. And trust me, it's real fucking slight. He wants us to go stop a Boldrome nearby that's messing up a hot spring spot where we can get him some hot spring dumplings in exchange for info. It's a Boldrome, so, you know. This hot spring area is funny because it's loaded with hunters who just assume we're a hunter as well. Is that normal in this universe? Just 10 to 12-year-olds running around fighting monsters with permission from the guild to do so? Fucking wild if true. What's also wild was the egg hunt extravaganza I did on the side. Welcome to the squad, Frosted Flakes the Zamtrios, and this awful little bastard, Pepperoni the Red Kezu. An abomination, and a menace. Just like the other Kezu we'll be seeing shortly. But this little freak looks like it's in desperate need of some lotion. Out here in the snow, chap dicking it with confidence, while also being viable for the entire main story, it seemed. I'm almost impressed, but I also hate that it made it in my Final 6 Monsties Hall of Fame, if you will. But I don't want to give away too much on that just yet. After grabbing some dumplings, while also grabbing a dumpling-shaped monster, like the guru asked for on the side, say hello to Snowcone. He's about to be our little experimental guinea pig. Because it's time for the rite of channeling. 2 to tango, that's when the magic happens. Are they about to lay pipe? Oh, a fire-breathing Lagombi. Oh, I'm gonna do some dumb, busted shit with this, I can already tell. Like turning this Arzuros blue. Does it help? Not really, but Walleye seems content. To sum up this whole mechanic for the sake of time, you can mix and match genes from your raised monsters and make some incredibly strong or just fucking weird monsties. Gotta say, it's a lot of fun. And Snowcone is here for all of one fight and will never make a reappearance. But I figured I'd give them a shout out. They'll be helping us take on the cold along with the crawling cave monstrosity that wants no one to pass this area on its watch. Well, scratch that last part. This thing is blind, and I'm not sure what sense it's using to ruin everyone's day, but I ain't having it. Plus, I don't really have like a goal right now besides wandering around aimlessly, and through this fight is the only way forward. So, the Beguiler, Khezu, Capcom's favorite little freak. While bulky in this game, I don't remember having much trouble with it once I sent out the right monstie. Got a sick Dragon Ball Z Budokai beam struggle, but I also sort of forgot to level up poor Snowcone properly, foreshadowing for many fights later. So we called upon the Hidden Leaf's noble blue beast, Sour Cream. Now show him the power of bonds or whatever the fuck my guy would spout off about. Ah, fuck, wait, he's got any form of jutsu. Pack it up. Dragon Fruit, you're in. Stretching the Naruto bits further, this might be our Neji Hyuga of the squad. So this will be Dragon Fruit's only spot in the limelight before fading into obscurity. Tragic, but did very well against Khezu here. And now we move on to the smallest area in the entire game, I think. Perennial Pass. There's only two things of note here, the pink cherry blossoms and the sleeping pink Rathian. You might be tempted like I was to get a sneak attack off and try and fight it, but take it from me. Don't. Just don't fucking do it. Nope. Nah. I see you fucking thinking about it. Don't even think the thought. Just don't. Bad. I'll grab the squirt bottle so you know I'm serious. Instead, shuffle your still intact bones to the big-ass city wall full of hunters and common folk. Wait, that also might be a bad idea. Welcome to Gildegaran, a town now packed to the brim with people who are nothing short of flabbergasted to see us casually walking around with a monster. And you can go up to any of the NPCs here and they'll give you some dialogue along the lines of, "Whoa, kid, what the fuck are you doing? What the hell is that?" And just general uneasiness. Y'all, it's just Sour Cream. He wouldn't hurt a Vespoid. Probably. On second thought, I think we should probably go ahead and find the guildmaster of these parts and see if he can get everyone to calm down. Running up to the equivalent of a mayor with a whole-ass dinosaur. A flawless plan, really, but it works. He knows all about riders and their way of life, and they strike him as no threat. He even knows Chief Omna. They go way back. Which raises questions, like, instead of educating the masses about riders and their culture to help bring folks together and understand one another, you just decided to be old and keep your secrets from everybody? It's almost too real, isn't it? So like anyone from a younger generation, we have to go out there and prove ourselves to our seniors of this place that we're capable and not so bad. Even though I think we're vaguely 10, confirmed to have defeated more monsters than some well-established hunters, and now we're being pitted against a whole laundry list of shit to do. I fucking hate the elderly. But I do love free housing. We're bunking with a popular hunter, Roberto. He talks like he's from California and is probably into weed. Hell yeah, dog. He even has a stable out back, which is where our monsties will be hanging out while we're in town. And speaking of the town, while shopping around I found a new hammer. Doesn't seem to matter what you use weapon-wise in this game, but I don't care. Gimme. And we'll be using it for the next 3 big fights to try and impress folks around here. Let me grab that list again. Okay. Looks like a Royal Ludroth, a Korapeko, and Nursilla. Fun stuff. Let's get to it. First up, the Dolge. Royal Ludroth. Apparently people are terrified of this thing, and what makes it funnier than being terrified of a giant sponge? I hatched one of these things before even fighting it. Hey hunters, look at this! Ooh, it's a Royal Ludroth! I'm just kidding. His name's Lemon Zest, and he wouldn't hurt a Kelby. He also has the ability to shoot fireballs because this game has created a monster, which is me. And I myself am going to be creating monsters. And that's kind of funny. Just a normal day for me. Meanwhile, the locals here just watch some kid carry off the spawn of the guild's most wanted. Heading just outside of town, I found the problem, and it really wasn't that hard. He has a giant beacon above his head, and it won't stop screaming. There's no blight-related reason why it's doing this, seemingly. He's just sort of being a dick and ruining everyone's beach episode around these parts. We can't have that, so it's time to get boned. Sour Cream and I made a record time out of this little scrap. Hit him with a combo so hard we sent him back to try. Alright, what's next? Mushroom hunting! They managed to squeeze one of these in here too. Also, it just occurred to me that this is something that I haven't done since I was, like, actually a kid. My dad was really into this shit, and I was just dragged along into it. Hopefully here I don't catch poison ivy this time. Though I never got to go to a rainforest like we are now. Sort of fun, kind of exciting even. Looking high and low through this new area, the only thing we found walking around here was, unfortunately, a Gypsaros and this spiderwebbed lair. Hey girl, we're just here to grab some mushrooms and skedaddle, but if you're looking for a fight, you picked the wrong hammer, man. And just like the mainline games, we beat the shit out of this spider. Flipped her like a fucking omelet. Until the game had a scripted event where we got webbed. But luckily Roberto swoops in and helps with something the game cheated me into, and then I got dropped because they halted my hot streak. Didn't stop the comeback, I'm just annoyed now. But we have a nice cool down by campfire with a freshly cooked steak by Roberto. And you know, this is kinda nice. First person that isn't a writer to actually acknowledge us, and try to connect with us on a hunter-to-writer basis. We also have this line by Naviru that's kind of funny.
So hunters are to riders what Devil Joe are to pickles?
Well put, bud. And so true. So true. Okay, that's 2 out of 3 down. Time for that Quarapeco. Captain Simone is requesting our help with that, and gives us insight on the Quarapeco acting sillier than normal. There was also talk about monster populations dwindling, changing of the land, and vibes just being off. Unsure what that all means, but it sounds like some blight-related problems. I'm expecting the worst with this fight, so prepare yourselves for the Loud Crier. Okay. I guess I'll just give him a slap on the ass and move on with my... Oh, shit, okay. We're not fucking around, I see. Just a casual blighted Rathian out for a stroll just showed the fuck up, I guess. Locked into a double battle now, and this specific loud-ass bird is a complete and utter piece of shit, just spamming attack up and heals the entire time. Oh, you bitch. Tough. Fucking tough fight. Chipped and beat down the Quarapeco because it really needed to shut the fuck up, and thank fuck the Rathian it summoned was secretly weak health pool-wise. I'll take it because I didn't have a plan outside of chugging potions and having pepperoni chew on them. But hey, somehow in the end, no feints. Reporting back with everyone, it seems things are more dire than we thought. Roberto mentioned the town of Alberax, having rumors of some monster fiend blotting out the moon from the sky. He'd know best about this place because it's his hometown, and asks us to tag along with him in a band of hunters. Fuck yeah, dude, I'm so down. We both have some loose ends to tie up before heading straight there, so we're meeting up in Oasim. This camp set up closer to this side of the slowly encroaching desert we'll be traveling through. But real quick, I went out shopping at the Denmart and picked up a few new things. And one of them I clapped my fucking feet when I saw it. One of the few times I wish I captured my reaction in these videos, but it is what it is. Take a good gander at the new squad. We got Sour Cream, he's blue for an amazing reason. Kiwi, our new Rathian girly pop. Granola, our other new girly pop. Pepperoni, who I wish wasn't here, but he is kind of beefy. And Turkey Bacon, my son. Oh, here's a baby photo. Isn't he the cutest, dumbest, mud-filledest thing you've ever seen? Oh, I love him. He's built like a PS2 and likes to eat bugs. I'm gonna try my damnedest to take Baroth through this entire game. I don't know how good he is overall, but he seems to be like a defensive water wall. He might just be Slowbro adjacent, and that is exactly my speed, because that's actually my favorite Pokemon. Also, more armor, with decent color options. Holy shit, please bring this over to the mainline games. This rips. I know I'm not the first person to talk about this, but still, it's fucking awesome. Turned my Rathian armor into that unknown monsters palette from Frontier. Loved it so much that I even went with it for the video doodles. Now that we're all caught up and I've burned a few hours probably gathering eggs and materials, let's head to Oasim and help out these hunters who were scared of a Royal Ludroth. I'm not letting that shit go. We meet with this hard-ass Gentor. Technically this is the second time we've met, but he's a complete useless prick, so who gives a shit? Instead, Alberax's very own chief is here after an evacuation and lets us know about the quicksand forming around the village due to monster tomfuckery. The Black Blight is making its rounds across the sand and talks of a great horned beast, the Diablos. Now that's a monster to be scared of. I don't know what anyone else is doing to alleviate the situation, but we're going out into the desert and checking out, quote, 3 suspicious locations for whatever monster is behind the quicksand problem. So let's go see what we can dig up. Prep yourselves for another 3 monster battles. Our first encounter is against a Daimyo Hermitor, nothing super nefarious going on here with it. But I gotta say, with this and the other two monsters, this game's styling and color choices are fucking great. Daimyo here usually looks pretty good in every game, but they've really punched up its colors. Looks gorgeous. We can't seem to get our own hermit crab, so says the Monsterpedia, and that kinda sharts. But the second encounter, Baroth, well, we already know about that one. He's so orange and full of life, it brings me joy. Even his kinship attack is great. Not really flashy or anything, but spawning in his own mud pool just to charge up the muddiest mud ball denser than a star, and just lobs that thing at the opponent. I love it. Probably didn't need to tell you that, but it's my video, goddammit. Let me have my gay whimsy. Before our third Battle of the Sand, we report back to the camp that we didn't track down anything overly suspicious, and that it must be a cephadrome causing all this shit. A bummer, and even the hunters here agree, which is funny, but also means that it is canonically true that cephadrome sucks. No one wants to fight it. And then steps in someone who thinks they can solve the problem without weapons or armor. Introducing the Cuck and the Cuckter, aka Dr. Menelger and his Cuck. I'm not entirely sure if they ever say his name out loud now that I think about it. Doesn't matter though, because there is a much more alarming thing about them. Oh. Oh, you picked the absolute worst monster to do this to. And I'm going to thoroughly kick the shit out of you when I'm given the chance. It was probably gonna happen anyways. He looks like a goofy evil villain with a henchman. But yeah, they have a Baroth under their control. And not in the cool rider way. No, there's like loose chains and shit. You can clearly tell the difference. But do you think anyone here can tell that? No, because everyone besides Roberto here is an idiot. So I guess we'll have to work even harder now because some jaded senile old man is looking to fuck things up almost intentionally so. Again, too real. I guess we'll try and beat him to the threat and fix things before he makes it worse. Hopefully. And now, thirdly, the final encounter in the sand and a fraction of the problem out here, Cephadrome. Again, looks great. I don't know how the team managed to make this shitter look cool, but I'm here for it. Also, it's blighted. Fun stuff and definitely adds to the spectacle. Luckily, we don't have to deal with any of the sand swimming horse shit like normal. It does still technically do that, but it works more like the move Dig from the Pokemon games. An easy workaround for Baroth, who will just use bulk up and eat hits like breakfast while dishing out its own damage in retaliation. Go ahead, my five-headed son. Give him hell, turkey bacon. I'm proud, like a parent. But of course, a good moment must be quickly ruined by this balding baboon of an antagonist. You see, his contraption of a controller fails miserably because his genius is overshadowed by his ability to fuck everything up while pissing, screaming, and crying. He goes like 0 and 17 on this shit by the time we wrap things up here. It's actually embarrassing. And you'll never guess who has to deal with it too. It's us, some kid with a weird-looking dog, fending off some other weird-looking dog in something akin to power armor, literally proving ourselves both visually and with actions, not words. Not only did the Cuckter give it some armor, but he actually achieved some sort of bastardized rite of channeling, and gave this thing the ability to breathe fire. Too bad Turkey Bacon doesn't mind a little sizzling. And we're so in sync that we're pulling off double attacks for big damage while also bombarding this thing with the power of bonds and kinship power for even more damage. Again? Give him hell, Turkey Bacon. After defeating this thing, it gets back up for a round 2, but is blasted from off-screen by a fireball. Launched by a Rathian with a familiar-looking rider atop it. Someone very edgy with a lot of pent-up anger and frustration who wants nothing more than to stop any threats to people. Cheval. We have a very heated exchange about being riders and what we should do for the world. Two clashing ideals, us with forming bonds with monsters to make the world a better place, and Cheval with overwhelming power to stop anyone or anything that's a threat, regardless of reason. Edgy stuff, and of course he has to throw out a humph before darting off and leaving us with a mess. And from off-screen, another problem enters. People still don't trust us, and some of them are taking a step further and saying that writers are the ones inviting disaster into the world. I'm not even gonna respond to that. Roberto tries to have our backs on this one, but it just falls on deaf ears. They're either too stubborn or too stupid. Maybe even both. So, we'll just barge into their overtaken town by a giant blighted fiend while they watch with their upturned noses and stern expressions that only ever get put on side characters who do absolutely fuck and all and spur you on to prove them wrong. Give me like 10 minutes and I'll have this situation handled and you can all go eat humble pie afterwards. Walking into Alberax, the vibes are a bit fucky and someone turned off the lights. Wait, aren't we outside? The whole town has been blighted and has become a Diablos' turf. A big, scary fiend of one, too. Not gonna stop us, though. Let's show everyone what we're made of one more time. Turkey bacon, you know the drill. Give 'em hell. And hell he handed out. I only briefly mentioned the combat in this game earlier, but Diablos here likes throwing out a whole lot of power attacks, while Baroth favors speed. It certainly tried to put up a fight, but the double trouble speed attacks were doing wonders on this thing's sort of visible health bar. And if Diablos decided to dive and try some sneaky shit, well, defensive stance always helped tank those, and a dash a soothing song to heal up if needed. I don't know if this combo is busted by any means, but it at least makes Turkey Bacon very viable here. Almost feels like the perfect counter for saving this village. Now purified of the blight by our wrist rock, the town is freed from the haze's grip. And that seems to have pissed off a hovering cheval from a distance who downplays everything that just happened. That's crazy. You've been sticking by this close since before and didn't do anything? Had no nerve to swoop in again last minute and act tough? He then storms off in a huff, declaring that his power alone will be able to push back the blight. Have fun with that, I guess. We'll see how that works out by the end of this game, I'm sure. In the meantime, a bonus! Rarity 4 monsters can be obtained. Every time we cleanse one of these rocks, we get a permanent buff. It's like loosely the badge system from Pokemon with how like some creatures won't listen to you past a certain point. I only had that come up like, I think, twice. So it doesn't really become a problem. A problem that did come up very quickly, the village is sort of fucked up. You know, it had a Diablos in it briefly. But I think we can help put a band-aid on it after a chat with the chief. He talks about that ancient legend from the start of the game, sort of peculiar, probably a chosen one like story beat incoming. We're also a hero of the village, and they just give us a whole fucking house. This child has more to their name than I do, and that's both a little funny and a lot of painful. Roberto softens the blow by saying that makes us from the same village, and that's like really sweet. The village, again, however, looks a little less than sweet. So we start the repairs by getting the spring water flowing with Walleye's ability to smash rocks. There's a whole pseudo HM thing in the game too, but barely worth explaining. This blows Chief Nolma's socks off and gifts us with the Rider's Flute. It lets us make up expedition parties with our stabled monsters to gather up materials. I sent this gaggle of goobers back to the starting area, and I'm sure no one fucked with them. Stray Velocidrome, I dare you to fuck with this squad. Fuck around and find out. Whatever they bring back, we'll be using to fix up the town to its former self. Feels like a real place to live now, and quite cozy at that. They've got a restaurant, a rider arena for PvP stuff. Even the theme here changes to a more jaunty tune, and it kinda hits. Maybe a sleeper pick for village themes? I'm torn because I almost love it. Top 5 village themes, maybe? But it also sounds like a Sims main menu track partway through. Kind of fucked up when you say it out loud like that. I think a distraction is in order so my brain can recover from that self-inflicted psychic damage. The scriveners are here to check up on things, and Lilia is here with them. Hey girl, sorry you dropped being a writer just so you could see the outside world, only to find out that you can just do that anyways. But you know, good to see you again. They also want us to report back to their hub base with our findings. And they've got news for us as well. The doctor is being widely questioned about his methods, and rightfully so, he's genuinely a piece of shit. They've tracked down his location in the Dovin Volcano, a dangerous place because, you know, volcano. And Naviru seems off-put by this suggestion of heading that way. Fair, sounds miserable, but we're still going once we figure out how to get there since a roadblock has occurred. Both story-driven and literally. That'll be cleared up in a second after we check out some rumors of a rider in town. Could be Cheval, might get a happy reunion this time. Nope, just some kid peddling fake kinship stones. We interrogate him on where he got them from and mentions the Dovin tunnels. Part of the volcano from earlier, so it probably has something to do with Menelgar. This little chat comes crashing to a halt as the kid darts off at the same time as a big commotion comes from the dock area in town. So we swap our attention over to that instead. Oh shit, how the fuck are you not dead? And how did you get here? Apparently the kinship stone drew him here, and that's wonderful, and a problem. Roberto makes a good point though. Shit, I've been waiting to do this anyways. Good to have you back, Ratha, and right on time too. Looks like we've got our fly straight over all the bullshit option available, and right to the village of Geofolkrite, nearby the hot, sweaty, and awful volcano. Reminds me of Hearth from 4U, but at least there's a breeze. Except it looks a little, pissy. Probably sulfur smells aside, the mayor of Pex that could destroy rocks and a jawline that could chisel malachite ore was alerted of our arrival ahead of time and would love to help us, but there's a blocked mine problem. I was sort of confused on why the fuck a mining town would have a problem with a blocked entrance, but then I noticed the giant fucking Uragan shoved in there. Oh, and it's got some armor too. This smells of cuck, not a doubt in my mind about it. Naviru then points out the second mine entrance that doesn't seem to be common knowledge here and raises some questions. Hell, even he doesn't seem 100% sure on how he knows that. Mayor Dama lets us know that even before the not Uragan blockage happened, there was a monster from the heart of the volcano terrorizing them, an Ignactor. I didn't expect him to show up in this game, but I'm delighted to see him again. Well, until the fight happens where he beats the shit out of me, because I've yet to do any real leveling still. Oops. I'm sure it'll buff out later, because right now we've got a series of shit-ass, butt-ass tunnels to piss and moan through for the next couple of hours. I fucking hate it here, so we're moving right along to the good stuff. Chasing down Dr. Menelger and his stubby little legs was the easy part. But then the boulder of blocking from earlier does a double feature and shows up right in front of us. The solution? Just blow it the fuck up. Oh, I did not like that. And now we're pitted against an Uragan and his favorite little rock. Aw, that's cute. I sure hope it doesn't explode. Didn't hurt. And that basically summed up this whole fight. Got knocked out 3 times. Besides that pink Rathian from earlier, this was our first hard wall of the game. Between Uragan continuously showing us his cool rock collection, hitting me for a lot of damage, and Blast Blight being an insta-kill, we had quite the dilemma here. But determined I was to see it through, so much so that I ran back right in there without healing any of my hearts up, a huge fucking blunder on my part, and yet, somehow it just didn't matter. It felt like reminiscing about being a kid and revisiting a game years later only to question how the hell you managed to beat it then. Except I'm experiencing it as an adult in real time, and I can say with confidence that it was all thanks to blind luck and stubbornness then and now. It did almost get the better of me after we dropped the Uragan with barely any health remaining, and nearly got us with a martyrdom cool exploding rock. If that would have gone off and smoked us both, this video would have ended very differently. Probably just more crying, but we move on regardless. The more open Volcano is next, home to things like normal Uragan, Brute Tigrex, Basarios, and Gravios. And I'd mention Iodrome, but literally no one cares. Lie to me in the comments if you want, we all know Great Roggy is better anyways. We'll probably be revisiting this area later with an egg hunt or 5, but I'm currently on a mission to finally kick the doctor's ass. I'm unsure how Debly keeps sneaking in here without a problem, the kid peddling wares in the alley, but we find him here again with loads of fake kinship stones. He's been stealing them from the doctor, except he really doesn't like it being phrased that way.
I'm a good person, all right? I've got nothing to feel guilty about.
You know, if you have to state it out loud like that, I'm not sure if... never mind. Honestly, I don't care. Pretty sure he's an orphan just doing his best to survive. Do what you gotta do, chum. Come to think of it, are we orphans? Are all my friends orphans? Is this gonna turn into a found family setup? Because that's, like, wonderful for these kids. Mayhaps a topic for later since we're, like, neck deep in the villain's lair. And Naviru fucking hates being here. Almost going into like a nervous breakdown and doesn't really know why. He has a past shrouded in mystery and amnesia. Like, literally, he gave us a brief snippet on how he doesn't remember his past at all. But this place, something about it is unsettling, and it's not just because it has a giant cage trap hanging from the ceiling. Ah, the cuck and cuckter. Thought I smelled something foul. You also look like an unplucked tomato wilting in the summer heat after harvest, and the mold is setting in. He blabbers on and on about his genius research, blah blah, and makes us an offer. The kinship stone for our freedom.
I see. In that case, I'll just take it.
I sort of live under a rock, and I've never seen a single video about Monster Hunter stories before. I had no idea this was coming. Just casually gonna throw out Super Saiyan Naviru? Alright, Capcom. Charging up and Volt tackling the Doctor and being tossed aside while he makes a claim that he recognizes him as one of his many throwaway experiments. And then chucks all of us into the void. Ah, waking up in mysterious places reminds me of being 19 all over again. The vibes suck here, so let's find a way out of this dumpster. Hopefully this new strange feline can help with that.
Number 5, it is you. Welcome home.
You're both adorable and very unsettling. Naviru also finding out that they're both experiments of the Doctor and having this to say about it took me out off camera.
It's Manelger's fault I'm like this?
This statement is both kind of funny and crushingly sad. Welcome to bad parenting mixed with a bit of repressed trauma, bud. Sorry that you're here, but we'll make some room for you at the table. Though by the end of this, we're gonna need a lot more room, I fear. Also, number 6, aka Floof, you can join too. More the merrier. You're also my favorite, but don't tell anyone. And if you didn't already guess by that naming number and experiment talk from before, there's 4 others running around in here. We get shown our way into this big-ass laboratory area where we need to go and gather up the others so that we can team up and stop the Mad Cuckter, who's locked himself away behind a pass-coded heavy door. Trust me, they're not hard to find. The first one is just down the hallway hanging out like it's another Tuesday. There's a couple of monster fights we've already seen and a smaller glimpse of a monster that we'll probably be seeing soon. We find numbers 1 and 2, Beats and Cryo, calm, cool, and collected, with a side dash of brash. There's number 3, Fifi, who I can already tell is Sammy's favorite.
My glowing charm sets hearts aflame.
And lastly, number 4, Specs, who has the door code to push things forward. It's a little awkward chatting with them because they all remember Naviru really well, almost like siblings, and he doesn't have a fucking clue who any of them are, or their original plan of escaping this shithole. But bringing everyone together and showing pieces of the puzzle of how they originally planned to escape together starts jogging that jumbled brain of his. The plan in question: build a Rathameow tank, become a portable battery, and probably blow shit up. And now that's part of the new plan, but only after we give the cuck a piece of our mind and a piece of our boot in his ass. End of the line, prick. We both know what comes next. Bring out your final trump card that surely won't backfire like anything else you've tinkered with.
He's controlling an Agnator!
And that's not all. The blight has crept its way in here. So just to make sure we're all on the same page in the recipe book, the heart of the volcano's big bad monster as our base ingredients mixed in with power armor, a pinch of gene splicing, and oops, the lid fell off of the salt shaker and spilled a whole heap of blight into this monstrous concoction. Way to go, Cuckter. If you'd believe it, this thing is a fucking menace. I got dropped 2 turns in, and that's scary. Turkey Bacon was struggling a bit as well, and it became blindingly apparent that I needed a different strategy because we were getting stomped into a thin paste. The obvious answer is to go grind up a little bit, but I'm so Monster Hunter brain broken that I went with the approach of just making some new gear. It definitely helps, but watching this after the fact and knowing that I'm about 10 to 20-ish levels under par, real shit, I'm about half the level that I need to be overall. Blind luck and stubbornness hard carrying out here, and it's about to do it one last time. Round 2, asshole! Quick, Turkey Bacon, kick him while he's down! It's crazy what donning a new weapon, armor, and a pocket full of sonic bombs will do. Still took some bumps though, getting Dragon Beam didn't feel very good. But we did land a few kinship super attacks and even more double attacks that turned the tide of battle. And of course, bonds and friendship. Which also helps stop us from being exploded into deli meat because Ratha jumps in the way of a rocket and literally face tanked it. Manelger thinks he's got us cornered now, but we've got our own rocket slinging contraption. Take aim and fire, y'all. Get bent. Although you might have gone a bit overkill. The whole place is coming down on us. Have fun trying to survive this shit, you pricks. The cat crew have their own exit strategy, and we're just gonna fly our asses out the top of the volcano because it makes us look really fucking cool. Didn't exactly stick the landing, but to be fair, Ratha was just shot in the face after a long-fought battle, and it seems to be taking its toll. And the blight might also be doing some damage as well. That's right, as if our starter hasn't been through enough, let's add this on top of this perfectly crafted shit sandwich. Avinia from literally out of nowhere makes a return and says to use our kinship stone, vaguely like we've already been doing to purify the other blighted problems. Good news, it worked. Bad news, it's Cheval. Looking to start shit because he'll eradicate the blight by any means necessary with the help of no one. So, you want to hop off that Rathian, followed by tossing the weapons and armor aside? I know you didn't make those yourself. We can have a good old scrap in the middle of nowhere if you want. No? We're monster fighting then? Thought so. I counted this up after the fact. 4 whole turns of combat before you turn tail. It's probably scripted, but still, weak shit. There's then talk about Ratha and how it's probably been blighted this entire time since it was acting weird back in Gildegaran. Avinia even points out that he might have a resistance to the blight. And speaking of Avinia, girl, why the fuck are you here? Like, it's a pleasant surprise, just unexpected. Apparently there's a rumor that she's been chasing down that we're building up a safe space for riders to gather in Alberax. Did I say that? I don't really talk much, but if that's our goal, I guess I was right. Holy shit, this is a found family thing for all these orphan kids. Brought a tear to my eye hearing this. I'm delighted for all of them. Crazy that the stories games have actually good stories in them, even if they're just subtle side things like this. Makes me so excited to see what's going on in stories 2 and 3, and no spoilers in the comments about them. If you do, I'm canceling the GU experience video that y'all seem to want. You've been warned. Hopping back over to the mining town, we say our thanks and goodbyes to the feline gang and report back to the brick of a mayor on what happened. As thanks, he gives us, a literal child, a whole-ass ship! This kid owns an entire seaworthy vessel, meanwhile I own an inflatable paddleboard and a fishing rod. I believe envy is the word. But I also can't help but be proud and almost impressed with what we've accomplished. However, the celebration is short-lived because upon checking out our new watercraft, some new old faces show up. This anxiety-riddled girlie is Pansy. Her and Naviru go way back, right after he caught that case of amnesia escaping experimentation via the sea. She's here to tell Naviru that Chief Mallory of Kopany Village has been worried about him. With a bit of a fuss from an awkwardly shaped feline friend, we're shipping out to a visually familiar cat-filled island. Welcome to Not Chico Sands, Kopany Village, a beachfront paradise that we already have a vacation home at. It gets no easier saying this every time it comes up. Last time, I swear. Anywho, what's our deal here exactly? Just sorta exploring new areas and doing some side objectives until the plot swoops in and steers us in a direction? I did not mean literally, but if that transition works for you, it works for me. Somehow, even out here in the middle of the ocean on this speck of sand, the blight has found its way here. And god damn it, it's starting to have us go against some actual big mean threats. Young Garuga. Now, I don't know if you fought this thing in the mainline games or not, but I certainly have. Even on a few fair occasions even. And it is a bitch. You'll be drop-jawed shocked to know that this thing here is also a bitch. A big, bad, and even blighted one at that. As a writer, we're the best ones equipped for the job to keep the blight in check. Except the level grind problem finally caught up to me, currently dragging around 2 very underleveled monsties. And that's not even considering the other 4 who are just underleveled. And even that isn't considering my own character who's, we'll say, trying their best. So, activated an experience shrine, went back into the wooded area on this island, took my whole next hour and a half while treadmilling out on these great Jaggy and Ketchawacha, a great spot for XP where you can just reset them easy peasy, highly recommend it. And just like that, we're now a whopping level 40 across the board. We got Ratha, the lock slot starter, Pepperoni, the weird wall, Ham, the still underleveled, I just got tired, Spaghetti, our very own Garuga, French Fry, an impressive guy, and Turkey Bacon. He's a lot higher level than the rest of them because he's my favorite, but don't tell the rest of the squad. I love this big dumb creature. I have 2 of them dangling from my PSP. They are my kids. I would die for these 2 pieces of plastic and string. Speaking of dying, oh young Garuga, it's time for a run back and a comeback, you silly-faced fuck. Oh, now it's a proper fight. A blight and poison-filled one, so a bit tedious. But at least I'm not getting served up like a festive bird supper anymore. Oh, how the dinner table has turned. We even have our own bird, a mirror match to help take this thing down. That'll learn ya. Good job, Spaghetti. Take a break. You've earned it. Ratha, you're up, Buttercup. Pepper this turkey with fireballs because you're very effective at that. I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't know Ratha was this good leading up to this point. The more you know. The big bird pulls a Gypsaros on us, but then Naviru charges up and I think puts this Yongaruga down for good. This cat has more confirmed kills than the ace commander. That's crazy. We rescue Pansy, head back to our sunny beach resort, and everything is just peachy. Time to sit back, relax, and not be bothered by this piece of mail we got from Lilia about heading back to the Scriveners HQ pronto. Fine, but I'm finishing off this daiquiri first. I never get to have one of these anymore. Hey, girly pop, what's good? Lilia lets us in on two big secrets. One, the blight is getting much worse. We're talking the whole world levels of bad, bleak, just continuously bleak. And two, she might have found something to help with that hidden within an old legend. It's astonishing that these two kids came along for this crazy-ass ride and are putting in so much work compared to the surrounding adults. The legend speaks of Radon, the first rider, and I'll let Lilia take over this next part.
When darkness is born, and black dread spreads with fright, the savior we seek shall respond to our cries. Astride a white dragon, they'll take to the skies. Then blight will recede, and the light will live on, with rider of monsters and champion of bonds.
With that, we all come to the same conclusion that we need to find this white dragon, whose name is Virsa Pietru. And the closest idea we've got to try and find this creature is to head out into the Bobda rainforest and locate Radon's mural. Dude's been croaked for a long while, give or take, but it's worth a look-see. Heading that way, we're given more information that this is a very rare den and there's normally no entry permitted here. There's lots of rare monsters, and it was actually where Radon lived with other riders too. So it's probably a historical site as well. Though, from a glance, it's just filled with conga and emerald congalala. Certainly a choice to live here of all fucking places, but I really can't say much. My ancestors got to Ohio and said, you know, I like the way this sucks. There's also Black Gravios and Green Nargacuga, which is sorta cool. Must be their Cedar Point and Kings Island attractions around these parts. But finally, making our way into the center of all this, we meet up with the group within the ruins of Radon. Not a lot going on here, just a couple of broken down structures and rocks. There is one rock in particular that stands out from the rest, Radon's tombstone, and a mural on the stone wall behind it. And now we've come full circle, all the way back before our first steps through this game. The legend of a rider atop a white dragon who stopped the blight long ago, both Radon's legacy and a blueprint of things to come. There's more to decipher from this, but for now we're sticking with finding the white dragon's egg atop a great tree. Lucky for us, it's referring to the Great Tree of Bobda, and that's right out back. Just have to run past some Crimson Korapeko and battle a Zenogre from out of nowhere. And take your bug trash mobs with you. After more climbing this big-ass tree for 15 minutes, we come across a nest with a noticeably white glowing egg. I don't know who from the team is about to get benched, but let's welcome our newest member. God fucking damn it. Manelger, you dastardly bastard. I knew you were too similar to a roach to perish that easily. Get down here so I can kick your ass.
I think not!
Oh, you bitch. Well, y'all, we kinda shit the bed by not flying after him on Ratha after he escaped. Any other ideas?
Leave that doctor and his assistant to us, bro. I've got people after them as we speak.
Oh, okay. Are we setting guild knights after him or some shit? I know this is a kid's game, but that sounds like y'all are about to assassinate him. Honestly, makes my job easier if you do. He's actually deplorable if you think about his track record. That aside, there's more talk about the mural and picking apart its inscriptions. There's a part about a monster known as the Black Dread that's spreading the blight, and how Radon stopped it with the aid of the White Dragon. There's another part about 7 stars, and there just so happens to be 7 kinship ore, which are said to house part of Radon's soul. If they're corrupted with the blight, it'll spread it further until the world is in ruin. A lot of stuff to take in, but to sum it up, we already purified 3 of them, so you know what that means. A scavenger hunt for another 4 blocks of rocks. This involves some backtracking, but does open up a few new areas within old paths. Even some new monsters, too. Just ignore all the blighted ones running around. Shit's starting to look a little dire. Oh, and Cheval shows up, too. Just like old times running around out back of Hakum village. We stomped his ass. And Rathy the Rathian calls the fight early because she's tired of dealing with this shit and Cheval's dark path that he's taking. And it's going to get worse. Moving on. The dumbass doctor was trying to do some dumbass shit with the Pondry Hills kinship ore, and his armor-clad Tigrex started to go mad. Dude, how are you so cartoonishly bad at this? I'd be impressed if it wasn't so stupid. But Turkey Bacon and I are on the job, so it was a breeze. Another stinkless rock. Our next 2 are located back at Cat Island and in the rainforest. One has to do with a couple of actual cat burglars stealing a fucking blighted pickling rock, leading us to fight a crazy-looking Lagiacrus in a cave. If that sounds crazy and a little stupid, it is. Don't worry. And yet I enjoyed my time with it, so I don't know what that says about me. The other location of the ore I feel is much more interesting. Has us heading into the ruins once again, entering even deeper into the surrounding forest, and has us running through Monster Hunter's take on the Lost Woods. Although traveling through this is less sound-based and more of an electric zap visual on where we need to go without getting spat back out towards the entrance again. Not as cool as the Lost Woods, but anything adjacent to it really pings something in my brain. Can't explain it any better than just, I like it and I think it's neat. What's also neat is finding the not-so-great Deku tree here, hopping in and falling the fuck down into Ash Lake from Dark Souls 1. Y'all are spoiling me on things I enjoy. And the bow wrapped up on top of this gift is that fucking Kieran? I forget if I've mentioned it before, but I think this thing is sick. Not the fight, that's garbage. The design though, peak. And don't worry, the scuffle we're about to get into here is much more tame than anything in the mainline games. We're not getting gored and bolted from out of nowhere for 35 minutes straight. Thank you, turn-based combat, for making this much less painful. And honestly, me and Spaghetti here gave it quite the ass beating, though it was looking for less of a full-on brawl and more of a test of strength to see if we were worthy. The ore here hasn't been blighted, but it wasn't a wasted trip. We got a kinship stone power-up and headed back to the scriveners to report our findings. The last kinship ore location has been found. The ruins of Zalam, out in the snowy mountains. A place where the Black Dread was supposedly born. Slight problem, the gate leading there was sealed long ago, and the only one who might know how to open it would be Radon. Again, very dead. We're talking thousands of years. But I think we've got a key already. Time to go and become Radon too. But first,
I'm going to destroy the Black Blight. I'm going to end this.
But that dragon's meant for Radon! It'll only listen to the hero of legend!
I'll show you all. This is the only way. If anyone's gonna become the hero, it's me!
so there's a lot to unpack here and none of it's good. Super Saiyan God Cheval and his totally normal kinship stone have cracked open the white dragon of legend by force. And I'm so fucking sure this will not end well. It's kinda obvious, I know. We've got these 3 attempting to save the world and they're constantly failing at any moment they're given. And when push comes to shove one final time, Cheval decides we need to fight and end things. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? You know I beat you 2 times already, and if you're betting on 3rd time's the charm, along with the doctor's handiwork, that's a recipe for disaster. He didn't like that, by the way. At least we get to see what the white dragon's all about. This big, angelic, chimera-like beast is truly a force to be reckoned with. Too bad its rider isn't. The RGB beam and breath attacks are more pretty than damaging, and it's still a fight where we break certain parts to weaken the monster overall. But when backed up with the ability to regenerate, that becomes a problem. The longer this goes on, however, I see a glimpse of an even bigger problem. A more dreadful one. It's starting to take on a darker appearance and not listening to Cheval. Good fucking job. Not only are you 3 pouting in a crumpled fucking heap right now over this huge miscalculation, you also birthed pure evil through manipulation and untrue bonds. Bravo, you numb-nutted fools. The new Black Dread then blasts Cheval off a cliff before heading off to some central pillar up top to plot its blighted schemes. I'd check on Cheval, but I'm too fucking frustrated to deal with his shit. Plus, he was conscious while falling, and fall damage isn't real in these games. Honestly, I just feel bad for Rathy. Lilia, you got this? Great. We're going after the newly titled Makili Pietru, and putting an end to this once and for all, climbing up this sort of familiar structure to the tower map from the second generation of games and fending off blighted monsters, including a Stygian Zinogre, hey girl, this wicked-looking Brachydios, and Devil Joe! Oh, what fucking fun I'm having! She said with heavy sarcasm. I'm trans, by the way, if it wasn't already obvious. Figured I'd just state it here and now before the final battle to decide the fate of the world. Wish me luck. All this unfolding makes me fear that we're too late. The blight is spreading across the world like a lit flame to a pool of gasoline. And Ratha has come down with a serious case of it too. Edelbuff, we've got that kinship Oh, god damn it, Ratha, you stubborn little shit. Guess we'll have to do this the hard way. Get love, dummy. Thank fuck that worked, because we're gonna need our overpowered little buddy for the next part. Kinship stone or not, we're kicking your ass. Prepare yourself, fucker, because we've got a bond like 2 peas in a pod, a bump on a log, an accidental shit off a shard, and ain't nothing stopping us. Okay, that's annoying, and I'm a little short, can barely reach you, but Ratha can. Bring him crashing down, tan his hide, and a double attack for good measure. It rollercoastered from there, reapplying barriers and regeneration while we kept the pressure on with fireballs and pickled flavored slashes. Threw out a kinship attack too because it does big damage and it makes us look cool. But I think it's time we end things with a bang. Shit's about to get kinda crazy, so hold on tight. And while you're at it, if you don't mind, hit our theme music, would ya? And that's how it's done. The blight fades from the world, and I think it's safe to say we saved it too. Even Cheval has come back from the brink, meaning the whole gang here from the start is back together. We love a big ol' happy ending. And a credit showcase of a loose Where Are They Now? Of all the characters we met along the way, my personal favorite, Roberto attempting to ride a Velocidrome with Dan and friends around, as well as a custom Rathalos icon with a scar. This is lovely. And after that, to close the book on things, we bring our broken kinship stone back to Radahn's tombstone. Sort of like returning a piece of Radahn back to its rightful place. Or it'll repair itself stronger than before, making us capable of forging stronger bonds. Which, gameplay-wise, means we can get new monsters and stronger ones too. A whole game has really just opened up, along with the Tower of Illusion and the Labyrinth of Ordeals. But all that's a bit much to add to this video. Maybe if y'all blow up the comments with wanting to see a part 2 of the post-game stuff, I'll consider it. Regardless of the outcome though, there's always stories 2. Definitely a future video, don't worry. I think that'll wrap things up here for the Monster Hunter Stories 1 experience. This game's great, phenomenal, dare I say a wonderfully pleasant surprise since I came into this completely blind. Appreciate y'all as always for watching, and even more appreciation for the love, support, and art too. Seriously, the post-video stuff is insane. But it's time for me to head out on another adventure and video for hopefully a shorter amount of time. Until then, hope y'all have a good one and stay safe out there. Bye-bye. Hey, how's it going? After Video Lou here with a mild bit of congestion. Did you know I opened up the membership thing here on YouTube and only talked about it in a one-off post? And yet, despite that, along with knowing my upload schedule, there was a couple of y'all that jumped on that pretty quick. I didn't have it labeled that I'd read off names, more of an on-screen appreciation at the end, but for the first go-around, fuck it, y'all are getting a shout-out. I hope I get these names right. We got Dataryu, Urban Dano 79, Elusive N7, I Just Drank a Lava Lamp, great name, DJ Stash Cash, Brooksy MH, Night Polaris, and AKA Cheddar. Y'all are fucking great, truly I can't thank every one of you enough. May y'all forever be etched into the stone wall that is this video. Oh, and another shout out to the folks over on Ko-Fi. I appreciate y'all over there too. Next up, it's motherfucking art time. Ooh, I've got some things to show. The straw page wall, aka the fridge, is absolutely loaded with stuff now. If you want to check it out for yourself, all my social junk is in the description. Again, it's anonymous, but y'all are still getting a showcase because I like y'all. Amazing stuff. I love it. I see you though, specifically Dupless. Get shouted out. And in addition to that, I hope I get none of these names wrong as well, but they'll at least be linked in the description with names and ats on screen. We've got Hachikami with a double doodle with some For You flavoring. Davey, aka My Bad DB, with another double that I've swapped in and out for my profile pics over on Twitter and Blue Sky. Ruby, aka Dragon Waffles, hey girl, with a plush that I really wish I had. Wander Malform with another plush that I really wish I had. Also sporting one of my Twitter fits and my PSP too. The Lamb Lady sent me this for hitting 30k subs. Appreciate it, girly pop, as always. Lily Bonnet with something completely out of context if you don't follow me on Twitter, and I will not elaborate. And then this video took so long they had enough time to make another thing out of context. This little creature is exactly me to a T. Or rather, me on an E. That's a testosterone and estrogen joke. Keep up. Rainy Robot coming in with a fun doodle, and I love it. You did a good job. And then, I got these two giant Sistine Chapel-sized images from Natano, aka Natazuchi, that very quickly became my banners on Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm legitimately at a loss for words. This is fucking incredible. Y'all are fucking amazing in general. Just cutie patooties, every one of you. Again, links in the description for the artists. Go check them out. But first, there's more. Somehow. Leading into the next part, I was asked a question on my straw page. If you had to become a furry version of one of the monsters, which would it be? I picked Blinking Nargacuga of all fucking things, said I'd draw it for 6 likes. You'll be shocked to know that it took less than 6 seconds to happen. And thus, the Monster Sona arc of art. YouTuber, streamer, and editor Ruby strikes a fucking gen within like 2 hours? I don't know, but it took less than a day. Girl, that's crazy, and I'm here for it. Also, I need an editor. We'll talk soon. But suddenly, streamer and art friend Robin Pro swoops back around these parts and drops a rendition of the Sona that I like so much that I commissioned them for a full reference sheet. No joke, first time I've bought art. Like, ever. And I fucking love it. If you do too, they take commissions. And finally, Shark Bubble wraps up our art segment today with a Pixar mom amount of ass. Really captured my best feature, truly. I love all of this, and again, links, description, go ham. Check everyone out, please. Appreciate it as always, y'all. Extra genuinely so. And now I'm actually out of here. I'm gonna go lie down. Until next time, love y'all, kisses, bye-bye.